Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something really, really universal and personal, too. Stress. You know that feeling, right? Maybe a tight chest or thoughts just racing or just feeling completely snowed under. We actually got hold of this fascinating personal toolkit, basically. Notes from someone who's really thought through how they manage stress. Some really detailed steps in here. So our mission, if you will, is to unpack this, find those key nuggets, maybe some surprising bits, and definitely those practical tips that you listening can maybe use to understand and, handle stress a bit better.
Yeah, and it's great getting this kind of personal perspective. Stress is, it's universal, but how we feel it, how we cope, that's super individual. So we'll look at what this person does, sure, but also try to get into the why these things actually work, connecting it all to maybe some broader ideas about well-being.
Exactly. Okay, so let's start where the source starts. What is stress? Really, this toolkit defines it pretty clearly. It's your body's reaction to pressure. Could be work, could be relationships, school, money worries, all that stuff. And it hits on different levels, right? Physical, emotional, mental. It's not just in your head. There's a key word in here that really jumped out. Overwhelmed. Captures that feeling perfectly, doesn't it? Just too much to handle. The example they gave was spot on. I was so overwhelmed with deadlines last week, I didn't even have time to eat properly. Oof. I think many of us have been there.
Oh, definitely. That feeling where the mental load just takes over everything else. And what's interesting about just being able to say, I'm overwhelmed, it sounds simple, but naming it, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, it takes it from this vague, scary cloud of anxiety. It makes it something concrete you can start to deal with, even just acknowledging it.
Right, gives you a handle on it. Okay, so if you can name it, what's next? The source talks about recognizing the signs in yourself. Because, and this is crucial, it says stress doesn't look the same for everyone. For me, sometimes it's this, restless energy. My brain just won't shut up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We all have our own sort of stress signature. This person, in their notes, they mentioned two specific things for them. One was becoming irritable, snapping at people when you don't really mean to.
Yeah, guilty.
And the other was feeling tired all the time, like deep fatigue, even if you're technically getting enough sleep.
That resonates too, the snapping part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely done that. Snapped at a friend, felt awful after because it wasn't their fault at all.
Right. It's a classic sign for many people.
So these signs are really personal. What does the source say is the first step once you notice your signs popping up?
Well, that actually brings up a really good point maybe for you listening right now. How often do you actually pause and check in? Really notice your own stress signals, understanding your specific desires. That's the absolute first step to managing it. It's like having your own early warning system,
Yeah.
So you can maybe step in before it gets too big.
Okay, so self-awareness is key. Got it. Once you've spotted those warnings, what does this toolkit suggest you actually do in the moment? It's really practical here. First up, writing things down, journaling. The source explains it not just as organizing thoughts, but getting it out of your head, externalizing it, like emptying a cluttered drawer, they say, which is a great image. They even use terms like jot down, just quick notes, or doing a brain dump.
Yeah, the brain dump. Love that term.
For you, just spilling everything onto the page to clear your head. They mention doing it every morning.
And there's actually some science behind why that helps, When you write worries down, you're kind of shifting how your brain processes them. You move them from the anxious emotional part, the amygdala, more towards the rational problem-solving part, the prefrontal cortex. Lets you look at them a bit more objectively.
Okay, so it's not just tidying up. It's actually changing how you relate to the thoughts.
Yeah.
Makes sense. What's next? Going for walks. But, and this is the kicker, without the phone.
Ooh, the tough part.
Right. That's the real challenge for many of us. Just you, your thoughts, maybe some quiet. The source says it helps them reconnect with myself.
Yeah, that deliberate disconnection is huge. Getting outside, moving your body, especially without the digital noise, it does wonders. It lowers stress hormones like cortisol, boosts mood, lets your brain kind of reset and process things in the background. It creates mental space.
Definitely need more of that. Okay, and the third immediate strategy, maybe the most common one, talking to someone you trust.
The human connection.
Yeah. The source just says saying things out loud helps make problems feel smaller. They use the word vent, just needing to get those strong feelings out. And they highlight how important it is that the person listened without judging. That's crucial, isn't it?
Absolutely. That non-judgmental listening is key for feeling safe enough to actually vent.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting, if you look at all three, writing, walking, talking,
Yeah.
the common thread is getting the pressure out.
Yeah.
Externalizing it, putting it on paper, moving it through your body, sharing it with someone else.
Ah, right. Creating space, like you said, instead of letting it just build up inside.
Exactly. It stops that internal pressure cooker effect.
That's a really good way to look at those immediate actions. But, okay, coping in the moment is one thing. What about the long game? The toolkit shifts then, doesn't it? From coping to actually building resilience, preventing the stress from getting overwhelming in the first place.
Yes, moving from reactive to proactive.
Right. And the strategies listed are things like saying no more often, setting boundaries. That's a big one.
Mm-hmm. Hard but important.
Definitely. Getting enough sleep, which sounds basic, but is foundational, and also actively doing things that bring joy. The source mentions reading, painting, trying new recipes.
Little things, but they add up.
Yeah. And this is where, for me, the toolkit gets really interesting. It's not just about putting out fires. It's about building, like, a more fire-resistant house.
That's a great analogy. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, these aren't just random tips. They're habits. Foundational habits for sustainable well-being. The source actually uses this neat structure. What helps me stay sane is, followed by a noun or an egg verb, like what helps me stay sane is having a routine.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
It shows these are consistent things.
Yeah.
And doing these small things consistently over time, it actually helps strengthen your brain's ability to handle stress. It reinforces that sense of control that you can influence how you feel.
So it's about building that foundation day by day. Okay, so as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, let's pull it together for you listening. We've talked about understanding what stress is, spotting your unique signs, then having some immediate tools ready, like getting thoughts out, writing, walking, talking.
Externalizing.
Right. And then, crucially, thinking long term, building that resilience through boundaries, sleep, routine, and importantly, joy.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with, drawing right from the source material here. Take a moment, maybe later today, and just ask yourself, what makes me feel stressed? What are my triggers? And then perhaps even more importantly, what has helped me cope in the past? Even small things.
Yeah, acknowledging what already works for you.
Exactly. Even if you can only think of one tiny thing right now, that's progress. That's something you can build on. Because remember, like the source says at the end, stress is definitely part of life. We can't eliminate it entirely, but you probably have more control, more agency in how you respond than you might think. Keep exploring what works for you.